Okay, this video I'm going to talk about perimeter. We're going to do a couple of small calculations, but mostly I just want to make sure that you understand what the concept of perimeter is. And we talked about area in an earlier video, and area answers the question of how much carpet or how many tiles you need to cover a flat surface. Perimeter answers a different question altogether. It answers the question of how much lineal distance is it around the edges of an object. So if you want to think of the same analogy as carpet, area is carpet, but perimeter is how much trim do I need to buy to go around the edges where the wall meets the floor. And that's a perimeter question. How much perimeter do I have in a room or in a particular space? It could also answer a question of how much fence I need to buy in order to fence in a particular shape or a particular area. And it allows me to do some calculations like if I buy a certain amount of fence and create a certain type of shape, how much area will I actually enclose? And maybe that matters because maybe I want to keep some animals in there like cows and they need a certain amount of grass to stay alive. So perimeter along with area can be a very useful calculation. So it's as simple as this. It's simply counting up or adding up all the side lengths. So in the case of this square, if I have a side length of S, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those side lengths. And so my perimeter is 4S. Pretty straightforward. If these were let's say 4 meters by 4 meters by 4 meters by 4 meters, I would know that I need 16 meters of trim to go around the edge of this room, or I need 16 meters of fence to fence in this square area. Okay, let's talk about the perimeter of this rectangle. Now here, the width and the length can be different dimensions. In the case of a square, the length and the width are just the same. But in a rectangle, they can be anything you want, even if they could be the same. So what we have is you have a width here and another width over here. You actually have 2 of these W's. So you have 2 times the width, and then you have a length up here and you have a length down here, so you're going to have 2 times the length. So your perimeter is 2 of the widths plus 2 of the lengths, and that gets you this distance. How far would you have to travel to walk around in these square city blocks or whatever that? Okay, let's talk about circles. They're kind of an exception. Here, the easiest calculation for the perimeter of a circle is pi times the diameter, right? So we would do pi times the diameter, but we don't have the diameter. We're given the radius, but a diameter is just 2 of the radius. So we could also say it's pi times 2 times the radius. 2 times the radius is the diameter. So either of these gets us the perimeter, but when it comes to circles, we tend to call it a circumference. Okay? It's just because a circle is kind of a special shape. So we get special names for some of the dimensions within a circle. Okay, let's take a look at just kind of a weird shape, right? This is maybe nothing in particular except some odd shape, but we can still find the perimeter. We just take each side, and we have to know its measure, and we have to add up. So let's just go around the outside edge. When I'm doing one of these problems, I like to mark a spot so I know where I started and I know where I end. So I got 4. Plus 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus another 3 is 16, plus another 3 is 19. So the perimeter here is 19. The big takeaway here is that perimeter is a lineal distance around an object, whereas area is a square measure that tells you how big the entire flat surface is. So make sure you keep perimeter and area separate in your mind.